Assalamualaikum to all panels, accesses, and my beloved friend. My name is Sharifah and Mohamad, and I'm going to present about the influence of cultural landscape heritage along the interstate border of Negeri Sembilan Melaka, which is Sungai Linggi. The arrangement of this presentation begin with the research background, which further describe the problem statement, followed by the literature review, research aim and objective, methodologies, findings and discussion, and lastly, the future recommendation for this research. According to UNESCO classification, World Heritage are divided into two natural and cultural categories. Cultural heritage, including cultural landscape, fall into the three main categories, which are design landscape, evolved landscape, and associative landscape. Cultural landscape heritage is a combination of natural heritage and cultural heritage. In Melaka, with population growth, their migration to the cities and multiculturalism evolved from 500 years ago. Recently, a new interest in several aspects of its history, culture, tradition, and religious and also ritual practice has arisen. Sungai Linggi's cultural landscape can be categorized as an organically evolving landscape where it shows cultural dynamism that evolved the religious activities in the association of time, scale, and space. For problem statement, firstly, Asian countries are leading to decline or loss of many tangible and intangible cultural landscape features. Secondly, the impact of tourism on cultural landscape was high among local people. Their appreciation of cultural value was extremely limited and lack of appreciation by the local communities in the planning process. Lastly, urban residents saw the kampung landscape as a place of good lifestyle and sense of belonging, while non-migrant in the kampung combined rural landscape with poverty, difficulty, and lack of advanced facilities. According to the literature review, Melaka and Minangkabau's characteristic will divide into four categories, which are tradition, heritage, culture, and legacy. For tradition, Minangkabau practice adat perpate and inheritance on the mother's side of the family, while Melaka practice adat temenggung. For heritage, Negeri Sembilan famous with its Minangkabau house or rumah gadang, while Melaka it is traditional Malay house which can mainly be recognized by its glazed and multicolored tiles on the stairs. For culture, the Minangkabau are divided into 12 suku or clans. They are recognized because of their dialects, since they are different way of pronouncing things, while Melaka has the Peranakan and Portuguese culture that are still preserved and practiced by a few descendant communities that attract visitors. For legacy, one of the Minangkabau legacy in Negeri Sembilan, which is evident in the buffalo horn-shaped roof, while Melaka, the influence of Asia and Europe has endowed the town with a specific multicultural heritage that is both intangible and intangible. Tangible cultural landscape refers to the things that we can store or physically touch. Melaka tangible resources such as asam pedas, rumah Melaka, perigi hang tua, and many more. While Negeri Sembilan, tangible resources are daging salai lemak cili api, rumah Minangkabau, kota Lukut, and others. For intangible resources, Melaka has Peranakan or Baba Nyonya culture and traditional dance Dodang Sayang, while Negeri Sembilan has their own dialect or accent and traditional dance, which is Joget Lambak. Next, we will proceed to the significance of the cultural landscape. According to the global perspective, the cultural landscape should be protected since it is the most connected time to the city and the local. From the country point, the cultural landscape is precious and irreplaceable. States mention that it will create links that bring together all the community within it. And lastly, it will increase the sense of attachment to the place and have a special relationship with it. The study aims on the influence of cultural landscape heritage along the interstate border of Melaka-Negeri Sembilan. This paper attempts to achieve the objective by firstly identify the most significant cultural landscape which is influence the development of Sungai Linggi. Secondly, to highlight the tangible and intangible landscape resources at the borderline of Melaka and Negeri Sembilan. And lastly, to find out the landscape characteristic between Melaka and Negeri Sembilan. The method used for this study is questionnaire survey that is distributed to respondents of Kampung Nelayan and Kampung Tanjung Agas in order to achieve objective 1. Semi-structured interview will conduct with the heritage expert in order to achieve objective 2, and lastly, observation technique to achieve objective 3. Next, we proceed to findings and discussion. For the respondent profiles, the survey involved Kampung Nelayan and Kampung Tanjung Agas Sungai Linggi. The questionnaires are distributed for 25 respondents each to avoid bias and unbalance. It can be seen 84% of respondents, which is Malay, stay and own the house. It is followed by Chinese and Indian, where both own 8%. Most of the house was built at the range of 46 to 65 years old, which 36%, and the second higher is 66 to 85 years old, with 26%. From this point of view, it shows that they still preserve their own identity and the characteristics so that the next generation will appreciate the history. The 85 years old house is still strong and resilient until today. The diminishing tangible heritage, which is Rumah Melaka, show that they still preserve their house until today. The house was built in the late of 18th century and it's made of kayu minyak and kayu cengar. The house still functioning and running well. It's proof that kayu minyak and kayu cengar is sustained more than 100 years with villagers' ritual possession during construction. Most of the respondents insist Sungai Linggi are potential to recognize as historical site with 44%, port site with 26%, while the tourism center and cultural landscape heritage get 22 and 8%. The majority of the respondents were influenced to the Melaka culture's adat with 64%. It is because Sungai Linggi is a bit far from center and the people were not being influenced by their culture. For culture, Asst, the results show that although they live in Negeri Sembilan, they still practice the culture of Melaka. 72% of respondents choose Melaka Asst, which show that Melaka influence is more stronger than Negeri Sembilan in Sungai Linggi. From the survey, Dongdang Sayang is the most selected by respondent with 64% compared to Coget Lambak, which is only earned much as 36%. For culture and foods, Melaka and Negeri Sembilan both have their own traditional foods. The findings illustrate most of the respondents choose asam pedas with 62%. Asam pedas is the most demanding among others, which can be concluded that the tangible of Sungai Linggi also influenced by Melaka rather than Negeri Sembilan. The majority choose Rumah Melaka style for their homes. It proved that not only it tangible to be influenced by the culture of Melaka, but tangible also influenced by the culture of Melaka. For the future recommendation, by first, promotion from the old age pensioner, people who are mainly occupant along this river are more encouraging. Secondly, maintaining the authenticity. The marketing need to focus on the customers' demand and needs in order to attract locals and tourists to visit Sungai Linggi. Thirdly, tourism infrastructure is vital to recognize Sungai Linggi as cultural heritage site. Fourthly, compelling example of rural dwellers and implementing their house project to revitalize their neighborhood. Lastly, the reuse of historic buildings as a place for awareness raising event. It is important in order to introduce tangible resources and convey this investment in cultural heritage. In conclusion, the most significant things about Sungai Linggi is you can find unique, tangible, living cultural heritage, outdoor museum about Minangkabau and Temenggong being displayed in architecture, traditional kampung houses, foods, language, and way of living. Sungai Linggi is where Pepatih meets Temenggong heritage. Thank you.